Because of what many people call white denial, I have to overkill my point. And their white privilege makes it so that even though I have 15 witnesses and 10,000 valid sources, written by professors, doctors, opposition scholars, Tour Egypt, Britannica, dictionaries, and for definitions and on, 10,000 plus. And I used to have a partial list before they took down some of my older channels. So now I have more and more channels and covert channels I'm building right now. One moment, they're driving by. Okay, again, going back to page 162, I urge you all to buy Fighting for Honor, love and peace, and I'm not going to hurt anyone unless I am attacked, and you shouldn't till the video is over with at least, so they can see I'm spreading a degree of peace, which overkills my point. So we go to page 162, the highlighted part, African-born, Office of Society Chief, Cultural Consideration, Martial Arts System, Office of Chief, because in certain situations conflicts between societies were ritually resolved through single combat of their chiefs. So ritual is right, and that's between societies. So to determine who the best is in an Igbo culture, it is bloodless combat. Okay? For those who are a little bit more rugged, they might strike and start breaking out with razor blades. So over time, it went, depending on the situation, the training was different. But one thing always held was the transferable skills and the ability to strike, speed over strength. Speed represents wit, right? To be strong and have brute force, it doesn't take very much wit. You just kind of take a few blows and you grab someone and take them down. You're like a big dumb bull, a big dumb snake, a drunken jackal, and so on, right? Or an angry hippo. But to think higher and think quickly and strike fast, the rabbit, the hare, the leopard, the panther. It's ironic that you don't see more blacks coming out, but the panther is, and the leopard is almost identical, right? They're very similar. And, So we go back to, I think the panther puts the emphasis on being black, where the leopard is an Afro-Asiatic kind of concept, because the North Africans and the Eastern Africans from north to south were constantly taking Asiatic and other races as well. So remember, the boldest among these chiefs, the most considerate and wise. So I am the overlord because no other martial artist of my generation has done what I've done. So from that scale. And I'm the top martial artist in American history because no martial artist in American history has done what I've done. So scientifically, without bias, if I was looking at this, I'd say, well, as someone who has studied martial arts for over 20 years and researching the competition, and I have maybe a dozen videos now where I drive by other studios, and you can imagine hundreds and hundreds of times I've seen them training, and they're different classes, and they don't come anywhere. I could probably take a whole studio on at once, if with one knife, if they all had knives, it's that bad. So, a whole school, if they had to save 20 people, and I'd use the chaos to maybe catch my breath once in a while, and once when they think that they're gonna attack me while I'm catching my breath, trick them and so on. I think there's a degree of natural war arts versus white man psychology where he relies on you seeing it his way. So when you go to 182, right, at the bottom, I've highlighted it for you to make it easier. Before the highlighted part, you see Cosmos, the voice of Rio's intellectuals, advocated that Jogo de Capoeira should be accepted as a national art form on the level of British boxing or French savate. Public support was rallied by the famous battle in 1909 between the Japanese jiu-jitsu champion Sato Koda Miyako and the capoeira Miyako Shiriako San Francisco de Silva. When I was gone, the Japanese kind of cheap imitation katana blade kind of thing I had, or ninja sword or whatever they advertised it as, it was thrown out of the temple. It was on the other side of the fence. So yes, they're mad at me highlighting this truth, and that is proof that is what it's about. Because I warned these people that if you blame it on someone else and it's your fault, we're going to team up with them to, expose that or whatever. So Makakao's agility kept Koda from grabbing him. Jiu-jitsu is a grappling art that seeks to seize and throw an opponent to the ground for a submission. So you see how the difference between throw him to the ground and ending it versus treating him like a snake and making him submit, choking him, breaking their wrist, say uncle, right? as opposed to rising like a sun. The sun. If you look at street combat, for example, you're seeing the evolution of street combat, right? It started with righteous, bloodless combat, which is what Jesus wanted, the ancestors, going back to God. As the technocrats and the globalists, the eugenicists, liberal progressives, neocons, and all the different wings of the white establishment with their centralized white Judeo kind of Asiatic Japheth command, central command, the different wings and the different activities that these unscrupulous psychological operations pushing dogs, who I more than covered in Santa Cruz wearing the matching outfit, the black and the hoodie, right? The black beanie and hoodie. All right, so it went from capoeira to arguably boxing, and then shooting, right? And now it's shooting and wrestling. So there's a lot of bloodshed. So the UFC is basically being a gladiator, without being able to kill somebody. And that is not martial arts. That is Roman barbarity.